us, what lies before us, are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. The American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson uttered those words as a means, if you will, to discover our interior life, to discover what it is to be motivated by a soul, to have a life filled with prayer, in our case, motivated by the gospel. We gain clarity and fulfillment in encountering Christ. We have to do that first as individuals, but then always geared towards the wider community, first and foremost our family. Our prayer as individuals, as we were taught as little children, leads to that place of encounter, usually the dining room table, to sit and talk with our family members about what gives us fulfillment, what we want to do, what our dreams and visions are. But it begins in prayer and contemplation. People want a vision. They want a transcendent meaning, not just to cope with the problems of life, but something that fills their souls, something that motivates them. That's what happens in the family. Parents point out the gifts of children, and children point out to the parents what they need. They want meaning. They want God. We have to ask ourselves in this generation, with the freedom that we enjoy, what will we give to the next generation? Will we be known as great souls? Will we be known as a prayerful people? Will we be known as people that were motivated by the gospel? The prophet Jesus that came to his hometown was poor and challenging. They didn't want anything to do with him. What we want is faith. What we want is the experience of love. We find that in the person of Christ, not in the idea or teachings, but in that beautiful, intimate encounter that begins first in our homes, and then proceeds the wider community of the family, then to the neighborhood, then to the parish. All those days of individual personal prayer culminate in this moment. All those meals with the family throughout the week culminate in this meal at this altar. From the kitchen counter to the kitchen table to the dining room table for great occasions to this table, the table of God, we want clarity, we want fulfillment, we want to meet this Jesus. But we first meet Jesus on our own. Our parents usually have us baptized. But then we have to take the faith on as our own, and not just do it to honor a grandparent or honor a parent, but rather because this is the meaning of life, not an idea, but a person, Jesus. The prophet Ezekiel said in our first reading, "The Spirit entered into me and set me on my feet." That's motivation. What are you going to do with your life? Or as parents always say, what are you going to do when you grow up? Or are you ever going to grow up and get a job? Are you ever going to move out of the basement? Are you ever going to stop playing video games? Are you going to do something? Do your mother and I have to work forever? I'm not quoting anyone. But if children, young adults, don't have motivation, what happens to them? They wander aimlessly. In a small effort on my own this summer, I decided that I would read all the great American novels. Not all of them. Actually, I'm cheating. I'm listening to the audiobooks of all the great American novels as I drive around the parish. And I just finished Jack Kerouac's On the Road. And I couldn't stand it. The whole time I'm listening to him saying, "Get a job, get a job. What are you doing?" He panhandled his way across the United States. But I thought, this is the experience of some people. They're lost. They need to be found. Jack Kerouac went on to examine Buddhism, but came back to what? The faith of his parents. French-Canadian Catholic from Lowell, Massachusetts. Yes, a very fine writer, but he told the story of wandering and looking for meaning, and also deeply appreciating the American landscape in this country of ours that we're so fortunate and blessed to live in. But he sought out clarity, and sometimes it takes people a long time, which is very frustrating for parents and grandparents. But we first have to worry about the example that we give. The example we give comes from our own experience of prayer. Yes, we should pray every single day. We go from the memorized prayers that were passed on to us. We take the time to sit and listen to the voice of Jesus. Maybe even ask Jesus, what would you like me to do today? And then brace yourself and get ready. You want to meet the person of Christ. You want to meet the one that knows what lies within. If you're beautifully and wonderfully made, and you haven't discovered that, that's a pity. But that can quickly be remedied. Remedied by using the grace you receive in the sacrament, the grace from this gospel, the grace from the good families you belong to, the good neighbors you have, the wonderful parishioners you are gathered with here, right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today.